So, for the ballot here, I chose obscure, weird people so far. I know some people are going to be mad about this because I didn't do Brigand Boss or any other meme characters just yet. Ah, that was a pity pick. Alright, Brigand Boss. I chose Brigand Boss. You're welcome. I know some people are going to be mad about this because I didn't do Brigand Boss or any other meme characters just yet, like Geb or something like that. But so far, these are just some characters that I would love to see. I'll go through my reasoning, and you guys can let me know who you voted for in the chat. But basically, to start things off, we have Etzel. I voted for Etzel because, honestly, Knas got kind of screwed being a free unit. His stats weren't that great. His spread isn't that great. He's okay, but there's a lot of better options, so it's unfortunate. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of his artwork either. And I don't know how I feel about some of his quotes, like, this book, you see. I don't know. I just don't like it that much. But I like Knas as a character. So Etzel is pretty much like the Shadow Dragon version of Knas, except he's a pre-promote, and you get him through a Gaiden chapter that's, you know, obviously pretty hard to get to. Because in Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, the only way to get Gaiden chapters is by having 15 or fewer units alive. Which basically means that you have to purposefully get a lot of people killed. Because the game also throws at you some random units and stuff too, like every chapter if your ranks are getting pretty low. So you just have to go on a massacre spree. But anyway, Etzel, I don't know, I like his design. I think he's a pretty cool character, and I think that if we got another Knas in the game, maybe this one would be better, I guess. That was my thought process behind that, but I just like Etzel too, so it helps. As for Brunya, I think... Alright, there's a couple reasons for Brunya. One of them is because I would love to see some brand new artwork for Brunya. I guess it'd be interesting to find out how they power creep her as far as Heroes artwork goes, if you know what I mean. So there's that, but there's also the fact that I think that she's a really cool character. If you saw my Camus archetype video, you would have seen that she is actually argued to be a Camus archetype character. Really cool character, and I just think that she would be an awesome addition to the roster. Obscure character, probably somebody that there's not that great of a chance to see, and I should have explained it, but my whole thought process behind Choose Your Legends is not so much to vote for the top people, because my votes, you know, aren't going to matter all that much, especially if everyone's voting for Alm or somebody like that in the top. So I would rather vote for people that have very little chance of making it into the game, or it would be a long time before they ever finally were popular enough to get in. And that way I think at least, hopefully, intelligence systems could end up seeing that, hey, there's actually a little bit of interest for some of these people. So I'm not voting for top runners, I'm just voting for hopeful additions to the cast. So that's been my philosophy for Choose Your Legends. Next one, I picked Lucia, or Lucia. I know we don't really need another red Myrmidon Swordmaster character, another red sword in the game, because there's so many of them, but to be honest, I really like her design. I liked rescuing her in Radiant Dawn. I thought that was pretty cool. And I don't know if they would go with the long hair or short hair version, but we'd have to see. I just think she'd be really cool. I'd love to see her new artwork and her sprite in the game. That one's just more of a weird pick for me. There's not that much of a reasoning behind it. I just like her. And then we have Horace, who, once again, a lot of you guys might not even know Horace either. Another Gaiden character from Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. I think, honestly, my best Fire Emblem save file that I've ever had was my Gaiden run of Shadow Dragon. Someday I'll do a video and talk about that, because I'm sure some people would like to see that save file. But, yeah, it's a fun playthrough. You have to kill a lot of people, but very fun. And Horace is, stat-wise, somewhat lackluster. He's not, like, the greatest general ever or anything like that, but I just thought he was kind of a cool character, and I'd love to see someone else who's an armor unit get into the game. Mr. Rawi says, what is my most wanted unit for Fire Emblem Heroes? At this point, it would be somebody that I would just expect to never get into the game. I'm gonna look for a minute who I voted for last year. Actually, this will be cool. You guys will like this. So, this was in the beginning. I voted for Tharja. She didn't really need to be voted for. Trust me, I know that. But Marissa, I also wanted Marissa. Also the Etzel. I was still rocking the Etzel even back then, 2 years ago. Cool. Norn. I would love to see Norn. I don't know that she's like my #1 pick, but I think it'd be awesome to see Norn. Fiona, Fiona's a weird one for me because I like her, but she's not like my favorite or anything. I just like her design, I think. And we could use more like dark skin, tan skin folks in Fire Emblem Heroes too. I like that she's like one of the only like light blue aesthetic cavaliers. I think that's cool. Used to love Guy. Guy was like my favorite in Fire Emblem 7. Eventually I'd like to see him. I voted for Lucia too. Horace again. Look at that. I have not changed much in the past 2 years. We got Etzel and we got Horace. Yeah, Kaguro, also been one of my favorites. We have a Kaguro alt, though. I really like the Spring Kaguro. I need to use her more often. There's not a lot that I use her for, unfortunately. But yeah, this was when I was just kind of voting for some of my favorites. At this point, I wasn't necessarily voting for only obscure characters, but I still voted for a good amount of obscure people to try to get them in. Actually, no, I think I missed a day last time. That's what it was. I missed a day last time, so I only voted for 5 people. Here's my Future Legends 2 stuff. I went for Volk. My younger brother likes Volk a lot. I would love to see Volk. Volk is awesome. Hopefully he would be really good. I went for Norn again, because I got to rep the Norn. Volug, because I wanted beast units at that point. I guess I didn't think about Nyla, but Volug is a little bit more obscure. There's, you know, it's questionable as to whether or not he'll get into the game. He might, but not the most popular. I just like that he's like my favorite. Is he the only male wolf character? I don't remember. My memory of Radiant Dawn is not that great right now, unfortunately. Selkie, because I just wanted beast units at that point. And Deke. I've never actually played Fire Emblem 6, but I always, when I was younger, for some reason I thought Deke was so edgy and cool. He's shirtless with the shoulder pad. I just like Deke for some reason. No idea why, really. But yeah, those were my picks. Just to give you an answer right now, though, a really weird one. Merlinus. Imagine Merlinus getting into Fire Emblem Heroes. Makes no sense. I don't know what they would give him for a kit. He'd probably not be very good, or he would be busted. It's probably gonna be one or the other, because they'll give him some weird support skill or something like that. But I'm gonna say Merlinus for right now, because I just think there's no way that they do Merlinus. He's gonna require like all sorts of special coding. How would they classify him as an infantry? I don't know. It would be weird.